Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you, I hate it when that happens, giving you a shoutcast and a game between Thermaltake's Apollo's AK versus Spider's Fly, Wayli sponsoring Spider, Thermaltake or TT sponsoring Apollo, as we see AK spawning as the blue Zerg in the top left hand side of Achillean Waste, meanwhile Fly spawning as the red Zerg over here on the bottom right. Zerg versus Zerg, a matchup where you pretty much need to scout out your opponent throughout the match to figure out what's going to happen. Now we did see, I believe, Rush's DS versus Gamma Bears' Sen, and it really came down to who got to Mutalisk first and who was able to use them more efficiently. Now, Sen being the just the master Zerg player that he was and is able to take a small Mutalisk advantage, 4 to 5 Mutalisks, take down extractors, poke apart, and slow down gas production and gas harvesting enough to where that 4 to 5 Mutalisk advantage just becomes larger and larger and larger. We'll see if that is the case once more as the Overlords are positioning themselves. We can see spawning pools coming in from both of these players, and we should be perhaps following up with a hatchery, early Zerglings, and gas timings will be key. Zerg versus Zerg, and I will say this again as I've said it in every single Zerg game as of late, it's a lot of rock, paper, scissors early on. Zerglings versus Roaches versus Banelings, and there is always one unit that simply counters another better in that matchup. Now, if it is one Zergling versus one Baneling, of course, if the Baneling kills the Zergling, then, well, it's better for the Zergling. But we're talking about these splash damage situations, large-scale battles, who generally comes out ahead. Now, AK is already going for an extractor, so there is an extractor there. It's going to be slightly ahead of his opponent, as we still have yet to see any true drone scouting. Fly currently up 18 or 19 to 26. Meanwhile, AK sitting at 18 over 18, and he needs to perhaps get up another Overlord. This is not good for AK at all. He is already supply blocked and has supply blocked himself for quite some time here, and that is going to be rather hurtful. All right, Queens now coming into play, 20 over 26. You can see that AK is sitting on a larger number of resources, but Fly now sitting on 18 drones compared to AK's 17, and for quite some time it was 15 drones. So that was a huge worker advantage for Fly. Will he be able to stretch that into something else? Queen now coming in from Fly as well. I believe the Queen is making its way over for AK, both sides in position and ready to go as Zerglings now scour the fields to look for perhaps any stray units. Well, not quite sure what type of stray units you'd expect to see on Achillean Waste. If you do see a Zergling versus Zergling mirror matches are very balanced, if you can imagine that. 0-0 upgrades, 0-0 upgrades. Now, Apollo's AK, excuse me, now going into a Baneling's Nest. A Queen trying to get into position does shut down one Zergling rather easily, as two Zerglings now going to be chasing after this lonesome one, and it should be a good showing here as Fly now needs to perhaps make a move back in. It will simply just get torn apart though, as AK has dealt a bit of damage. Fly now perhaps on the defensive end, as we are seeing Zerglings and a large round of them coming in from Fly. Meanwhile, Zerglings and drones still coming in from AK. Zerglings now looking to move up the ramp here in just a second. And what are they going to find? Metabolic Boost has come online. Zerglings now trying to make their way in. Wants to do a bit of scouting, but there is a red welcoming party right there on the ramp. That Zergling has done everything it needs to do and except take down a drone, has done the proper scouting, sees the Baneling Nest timing, and knows that there is not yet a tech to tier 2. Without that tech to tier 2, he knows that Mutalisks are at least 200 seconds away, if not longer, as the Zerglings now are forced to back off. Spinecrawler gets in a shot, able to pick apart that Zergling and let the other Zerglings finish it off, as Banelings are now ready to go. All right, let's see. Fly here with 4 banelings. What is he planning to do with these banelings? Are they gonna be able to make a power play of any sort? As the backdoor rocks are still pretty much at full hit points. Here you go, a drone. Oh, gonna get taken down. Baneling doesn't really splash up on anything. That was not a good play at all. As the, oh, there's a nice hit there. Taking down multiple units. All right, what's gonna be happening next? It looks like the banelings are just premature detonating on top of pretty much nothing. A queen may get taken down. Yes, it does get taken down. As we now see 52 to 49 supply. All right. 45 workers, 4 spiders fly. Meanwhile, Apollo's AK sitting at 46. We are now taking the tier 2 for the blue team. Meanwhile, we are already at tier 2 and we don't see a spire as of yet. All right, there is that magical spire. And when will Fly or AK try and establish up that all-important third base, getting an extra 2 Mutalisks a minute? Zerglings and Banelings now trying to test. AK now poking up that front door. And really, Fly is just playing a little bit of a yin and yang here. AK tried to test the waters, knows that Fly is well defended. Fly trying to do the same thing, knows that AK is well defended. And what can he really hope to do except use these Banelings, hit a couple of key battles, and now try and take down this hatchery before it gets started. Drone does get taken down. Banelings just shuffling around over here, and if they can find their targets, that could potentially be huge. Baneling does do a little bit of damage, as we now see a third base coming in from both sides. However, the spire timing is going to be much higher for Fly, as Fly is going to be sitting on about 600, if not 700 gas. Zerglings still trying to clean up each other in the middle portion of the field. That spire is about to be completed. You can see Zerglings being added and now waiting for, yes, level 1 Zerg Carapace upgrades and a whole bunch of Mutalisks in just a moment. Perhaps, no, not supply blocked, not mineral blocked. Perhaps larva blocked right now. Yes, he is low on larva and unable to train all of the units. He does not have a macro hatch and is simply waiting for the larva injects to get a large round of larva at each of the hatcheries. Banelings engaging. Zerglings now trying to find a way. Another beautiful move by Fly, cleaning up. And AK is still trying to clean this up here as Fly now takes to the skies with a Mutalisk. Should be able to finish off many of these units, if not all of them, as the Spire is now nearing completion for AK. Now, these Mutalisks do need to make a bit of a play. If they just hang around for far too long, AK will have 14 Mutalisks of his own, and that could turn the tables rather quickly. All right, 4 Mutalisks on the field. This hatchery not yet training any additional units, needs to get off and inject there as well, as we're now up to 7 Mutalisks against what will be the 11 of Fly. Mutalisk versus Mutalisk, always an important thing to note. Who has the higher Mutalisk count and who will be able to ride out that Mutalisk wave longer. 15 Mutalisks coming in shortly. Meanwhile, 13 coming in for Fly. And if this queen can get back onto Blight, that would, or sorry, onto Creep, that would help him out. But no, just a little bit too late, a day late and $1 short, as the Mutalisks are now looking to engage. Queens are joining in here, and this is potentially huge. The extra damage from those queens causes much of a disturbance in the force of these Mutalisks. The Mutalisks were really trying to get a lot of damage off onto the others, but the Queen, with their superior range of 7 against anti-air, faster attack speed, and the ability to absorb a Glaive Worm bounce or two, really helped them out. On top of that, AK, you saw a couple of key transfusions going down in that fight to keep those low hit point Mutalisks alive. All right. Zerglings, Mutalisks, Queens now coming in, Overlords still taking to the skies. What is this follow-up play going to be, as AK has Overlords in position? Mutalisks now making a flight down. They are going to be flocking together here. No real scare of Infestation Pit and Infestors, as after that Infestation Pit, or the Infestor nerf with the fungal growth being a projectile missile, Mutalisk versus Mutalisk battles have always been about how well you can clump up those Mutalisks to focus fire a single target down. You can see Spore Crawlers being added as well. Spore Crawlers do deal a lot of additional damage to biological units, and we may have that here in just a second. 30 damage against Mutalisk. That is almost nearly as effective as 5 Marines, as we are now seeing the engagement now come in. Zerglings getting torn apart there. No one really yet taking up their 4th bases, as the Mutalisk army of AK is looking very, very daunting. Meanwhile, 0-2 upgrades already coming in from Fly. AK now looking to get in 1-0 or 1-1 upgrades, and that I am surprised about. 1-1 upgrades not nearly as effective as that 0-2, as that Glaive Worm bounce is reduced significantly. Alright, let's take a look here. 20 Mutalisks in the air. 4 more on the way with 0-2 upgrades. I believe that may be the timing that Fly is looking for in order to just break a move and bust out. Alright, Mutalisk now just going after all of these Overlords. Mutalisk arrived to the party late again, as AK still getting very, very good gas returns at this 9 o'clock base. Alright, Zerglings now making a move in. You can see that this hatchery has been established. Meanwhile, a large battle in the center. Zerglings engaging against Zerglings and Mutalisks. All units back off for a little bit of a reset. And perhaps we are going to see a couple of Spore Crawlers placed down, as long as we can get an Overlord or 2, or find some creep to lay down some creep tumors. Alright, what's happening here? The Spore Crawler is just going to actually land himself on his opponent's creep. A bit of a gutsy move here, as we now see the engagement coming in. Queen's now falling down. AK losing a lot of units here, surprisingly, as the Mutalisks are going after Mutalisks. We are now about even, as the Spore Crawler here is going to take down another unit there. Alright, let's take a look at the count. 12 versus over 24. That is not good, as the Mutalisks now look to back away again. Zerglings now in simply full retreat destination mode. Another Baneling detonates up, taking down a lot of Zerglings. And AK, even though he has the army supply advantage, it really feels like Fly is laying down the hurt, and in a dramatic way. Here you go. In comes more Mutalisks. More Mutalisks now coming in from the north. 34 for Apollo's AK, only 14 for Spider's Fly, and that is going to be the issue. 34 versus 14, you might as well have 20 Mutalisks versus 0, because that's what it's going to feel like in just a matter of seconds. These are 1-1 upgraded. Meanwhile, Flies are upgraded 0-2, so I'd have to give the slight upgrade advantage to Fly at this point, as the Spine Crawler nearly gets picked apart. All right. Here in comes those Mutalisks. Mutalisks now going after this base here. It looks like it should be easy fun. No, has not yet taken it down. We are still at 3 bases to 3, and here's the next battle. Queen's now joining in on the fight. Mutalisks now looking to come in as well. Both sides, or sorry, one side transfusing in order to keep up his units. And what is going to happen with the rest of the Zerglings? Mutalisks are now going to clean up, and there it is. Fly says GG. AK takes the game, and game 1 in this series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.